Alright guys, I'm here showing you just a quick update about our Project Red Sled motor. Last time you saw this, it was on the engine run stand. We were breaking in the cam and just kind of decided, hey, let's check the oil. And the oil was basically full of water. It was pretty milky. Only about after, I don't know, 6 or 7 minutes, we cut it off, checked it out. And we had thought maybe it was from the intake. Whenever the intake was first sealed and we filled it up with water on the engine run stand, it just kind of showed water running out the back of the motor. I've never seen an intake do that before, so I popped it off. I had some new Felpro gaskets and we resealed it, glued, RTV'd everything, and I'll put some pictures up for you in just a second. But basically that intake, even after I resealed it, it was not sealing right. And I'll show you that in just a second. But here's some more issues with our Mavco motor. I'm not impressed with this company at all, nor is the owner. I would not recommend them. This is a number 5 piston ring. It's the top ring. I went ahead and I got the motor pulled apart. I wanted to get everything cleaned up good. I noticed this ring was a little dirty, so I pulled it off, cleaned it up, wiped it up, and I just thought to myself, I want to check this ring gap here on this piston. So I've got that top compression ring off. Here you'll see me pulling that number 2 ring off. So I'll use my piston to sink that other ring down to the point of the oil rings there, just real carefully. And here we go. And I've got my feeler gauge. So this ring gap, the minimum is 15 thousandths, and if you multiply, just like I did in my 360 build video, this is a 60 over motor, so it should be 18 thousandths. And with this gauge, that is the biggest gauge on this set. That is 30 thousandths. And it just falls in. That's pretty ridiculous. I went ahead, just switch it over to a different bore. I thought maybe I want to be sure. I've checked this ring in every bore, but I'll do it for you here. They're all consistent. Every bore in this motor with that ring was 30 thousandths, which is really high. If it'd be great for a 250 shot of nitrous, but I don't think he's planning on that. And he even paid the company extra for moly rings, so I don't know if these were file to fit or what, but somebody did a poor job on that. You can see the rest of the motor is kind of torn down back there. I got to get everything cleaned up before going back together with it. And I'll take a quick trip. Still got the old Mustang in here. It's waiting to get painted. But next step, I'll show you this intake. The intake, I'll put a link up for it or a picture screenshot. It's an eBay intake. It's kind of a Chinese style air gap, but here's where the major issue was. So it's made for both patterns, Magnum or LA heads, which maybe it seals great on a Magnum engine, I don't know, but where I'm rubbing there, that's where the bolts were contacting. They don't go in straight. And if you look at a similar intake, say on Summit, they even tell you these bolts are they're drilled into the intake at like 8 degrees off from a standard bolt, which I have no idea why they did that. But here I just take a bolt and show you if I can get it set up straight here. The threads are supposed to go in nice and straight. They're actually contact right there on that side. So if they're contacting on that side, I'll try to zoom in so you can see where those threads were. If they contact on that side, it causes the bolt to be cocked, and they don't actually pull the intake down flat. So it's really basically every bolt and hole in the intakes showed signs of binding, like that. The bolts started in okay, they started fine, tightened down fine, but You can see that major gap there that I'm pointing at. That's not nice. That's not kosher. So one idea would be to just simply take a die grinder and open up, enlarge those holes, kind of oval shape them, which is not the best way of going about it. But here I'm showing you the heads. This is what was on the motor from Mabco, and these are small port 318 heads. There's a casting number. I'll try to get it decoded for you so you can see it. But I think these are like late 70s 318 small heads, basically come off a 2-barrel 318. And to add to our problems, this is the whole reason I tore into it. The motor had 4 flat cam lobes already. So I'm certain that they flattened out while I was breaking it in, yes. Probably due to the large amount of water that I drained out of the motor within that 10 minutes of running it. So cams don't last very long like that. So at this point, I can't blame the Chinese camshaft. I have to blame the Chinese intake, which there's a lot of good products that come from China. These were just not one of them. I did notice on these 4, I'll just hold a straight edge here. Those 4 were actually all rounded off on intake valves, which I thought was kind of strange. The valve heights didn't all line up. You can kind of see here in just a second. That rocks across the valve tips. They're not very consistent. So, I mean, I know it's a hydraulic cam. Hopefully that would take out some of that, but it'd be a bit of an issue. So, fortunately, we found all this stuff, and I'm getting the block flipped over here. Next time you see this block, I'm going to do a time-lapse video of the entire build. So this will be for my people out there that they don't want to see every step by step explained. They want to see a motor get built. I'm going to try to keep it under 10 minutes, and I may not even talk very much during it. I can play you some elevator music or whatever, but we'll get this thing built up right for him. He did allow me to pick any camshaft that I wanted. We're going to go back with a good torquer single plane intake, and I'll be able to match the cam to that, match the cam to the compression, to the stall, to the tires. I'm not going to give any of that stuff away, to the gear ratio. And I think he's going to have a really strong running truck when we're done. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.